Hi, this is Eternal King here, bringing you another LOR video today. I wanted to talk about kind of the future of Eternal decks that are going to do well in this format, because I've already kind of showcased some of the best decks. I've talked about what it takes to build a good deck in Eternal. Essentially, synergies, running your best line, win cons, and and things of that nature are going to do very, very well. I'll give you an example. If you build a deck with Tom Kench, you essentially have two options. You can build Tom Kench with healing, which is, again, the most standard manner, or you can build Tom Kench with frostbite. Now try building Tom Kench without those synergy points and see how that goes for you. Just try jamming him in a deck, in a card pile, see how that goes. And you're going to find that he's going to underperform for you. There might be a few things in Demacia that are okay for him, but for the most part, if you see Tom, it's Frostbite or it's healing, and then maybe it's Demacia, but you wouldn't, for example, jam him alongside Shadow Isles. You just wouldn't. There's just nothing there in terms of points of synergy to make it worth your while. So moving on to the future of the format, because again, like I don't want to keep hammering home, again, basically various versions of I'm right, but like at the end of the day, if I keep winning with both meta decks and off meta decks, I can showcase tutorials on how to win that are live and unedited and without any sort of third-party software aiding me. At the end of the day, like it's basically, my way is the most critical for being good at Eternal. It is the best roadmap. All right, so going into the future of the format, basically is Samaira or Akshan. Samaira Akshan, I think, is well positioned to do great this season. I've run some games with this. It felt fairly strong. No one's playing it because, again, they're waiting to see, what's effective on mastering Runeterra. They need Majin Bay to tell them what's good. But I'm telling you ahead of time that Samaira's in a very healthy position right now. She's not broken. Her flare for 1 mana, and it'll always be 1 mana now, is, conditional. You essentially have to plunder or strike, when previously you could just play her and get the flare, which allowed you to do the really degenerate thing of opponent plays a 1-drop, I play Samaira turn 2 with the 1 mana banked, and I just eat it for free. And that was so devastating that it basically warped Eternal as a format. You can't do that anymore. If you're going to play for Samaira, you have to play for Samaira. So how do we do that? How do we create those synergy points that make Samaira a better card? Well, you have things like Buried Armory, right? So I think Buried Armory for Samaira is great. Just instantly making her a 6/6 with quick attack that can challenge things, like that's fantastic. So obviously Buried Armory, very, very good in a shell like this. The next one is Swinging Glaive. This one's obvious, very meta for Akshan. Essentially giving you those lucky finds every time they strike. So both of these I think are fairly auto-includes in my mind, Swinging Glaive and Buried Armory, if you want to go all in on Akshan Samaira, because there are going to be games where you don't hit Swinging Glaive. It's just, you can do a full mull and, just not hit Swinging Glaive. Or again, you need to do a partial mull because you need Akshan or Samaira in hand. Buried Armory just increases that consistency. You have 6 equipments that are worthwhile that you can draw into, that are going to make your Samaira or your Akshan huge. And they require hard counters. Basically, equipment removal, explore cards, things like that. Forsaken Bakai is your draw fixing, very critical for Akshan or Samaira, because you need those combo pieces, right? You need the Buried Armory plus the champion, you need the Swinging Glaive plus the champion. Shape Stone, again, basically free in this deck, so, one of the best bursts. So feel free to use Shape Stone. Preservarium, again, I'm running some draw here, but like there might be enough draw in this deck to just not bother. But I was running Preservarium. Desert Duel, again, depending on how many burst spells you have, you either run the Desert Duel or you run Grappling Hook or you run some combination of the two. And it's basically up to you exactly how you want to ratio that out. Desert Duel is less conditional, so I tend to like the Desert Duel. I was thinking about Tomb Raider Barbara. it's not getting there, so we're going to drop Barbara. Vagabond must include. Golden Ambassador must include. It's just another way to make the champions bigger. Right Navigation as a one of. Siphoning Strike as a must-have makes the champions bigger. And then I like the Bruiser for a little bit of mid-range creature pressure. And again, it generates those lucky finds. So it's just really good for example, once Samaira is flipped, say Akshan flips, Samaira flips, you have the Bruisers, and then you get a whole bunch of lucky finds, and Samaira gets the rally there. So that's one way of doing it. So everything other than this, I would call tech and like flex cards and things that you want to run. Don't run any Noxus cards because Noxus cards will basically make Golden Ambassador worse. So we're more or less looking at Shurima, and we're looking at Shurima, burst. Burst, things that we can target our own champions with. Prowl, not making a lot of sense overall, just for the 2 damage. But again, it is a self-targeting effect, so it might be good enough just by itself. Absolver being 2+1 for 2 mana, it also guarantees Overwhelm in certain situations, and these champions are very likely to flip, so, I'm not against Absolver. Not a bad choice. And yeah, the only other burst we have is Prowl, so, it's probably the Prowl, I'll be honest. And then, figuring out exactly the ratioing in terms of Prowl versus Absolver, and then, once again, Preservarium, because I do think this deck needs the draw. The other option is that you basically drop Bruiser, and you run, I have heard of Akshan Samaira running Castigate before. Because you don't really care about your own followers, but the opponent cares about theirs, so you just Castigate. But again, let's move away from the Castigate. I'm not as confident in that currently. But I don't know, whatever. We can throw it in. If you want to throw it in, I'll do 1. I'm not going to do more than 1 personally. But at the end of the day, I might just prefer being on double right, honestly, if I'm going to be on one or the other. But we can just put 1 of each. It's a little bit of tech there. And then we can do Prowl as a 2 of. Prowl we have as a 3 of. And then, yeah, Preservarium. Preservarium on 2. As a 3 of. Okay. Something like this. 1, 2 Prowls. 2 Absolvers. Then 1 Grappling. 1 Grappling on 3. Something like that. I think this would be fine. You could basically just run it like this and experiment with it and see how the ratioing, works for you, how you feel about it. But just like different tech cards, Castigate, Rite of Negation, the Grappling Hook, and then your Burst, 2 Absolvers, 2 Prowls. I think 3 Prowls is a lot, and I think 3 Absolvers is a lot, so we'll do 2 each. Or it could be 1 Prowl, 3 Absolvers. Yeah, I think I would do 3 Absolvers. And that's pretty much it. I've had a chance to play with this deck already, sort of unratioed, just like running some casual games without bothering with the exact card choices. And it already felt great. And obviously, as you kind of decide on the exact ratioing of the deck, it's only going to feel more consistent and more powerful as you go on. Yeah, so this is Eternal King signing out. I just wanted to show you kind of one of the new future decks that I think is going to be coming back pretty big this season. You can wait until Majin Bey starts running it because he will inevitably flock towards whatever's the most powerful, and so he'll see some value in this list. This is Eternal King signing out.